You got to kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. It wasn't just a song. It was a philosophy, a reminder of love, and a window into the soul of a man who had walked through fire and come out shining. For Charley Pride, those words carried a lifetime of struggle, triumph, and quiet pain. His story was not only about music, not only about breaking barriers, it was about a man who held on to his dreams with both hands, even as life tried to rip them away. Charley Frank Pride entered the world on March 18, 1938, in the tiny town of Sledge, Mississippi. He was the fourth of 11 children, born to Tessie and Fowler MacArthur Pride, hard-working sharecroppers whose lives were built on the unforgiving earth. Poverty was not just a circumstance, it was the air they breathed. Charley's childhood was spent under the hot Mississippi sun, dragging heavy sacks of cotton across endless fields, his small hands raw and blistered from labor. Segregation cast its shadow over every part of his life, a constant reminder that no matter how hard his family worked, the world saw them as less. And yet, Charley dreamed. Even as sweat ran into his eyes and dirt clung to his skin, his imagination carried him far away. He wanted more: freedom, opportunity, dignity. But his first dream wasn't music. It was baseball. From the moment he picked up a ball, he felt a spark of destiny. The field became his sanctuary, the place where the world's divisions seemed to vanish, where his arm and determination could speak louder than prejudice. Still, in the quiet nights after long days in the fields, another love whispered to him. The Pride family's Philco radio filled the air with voices from the Grand Ole Opry. Hank Williams, Roy Acuff. These names carried weight in the Pride household. Charley sat close, listening to their songs drift across the static. The music touched something deep in him. He didn't fully understand it then, but he felt it. By age 14, he had saved enough money to buy a Sears Silvertone guitar. He taught himself to play, strumming under the stars, his baritone voice already cutting through the night with a richness that surprised his family. But baseball was still king in his heart. At 16, with his parents' blessing, he dropped out of school after the 11th grade and joined the Memphis Red Sox of the Negro American League. It was 1952, and Charley was just a teenager stepping into the professional world. His raw talent caught attention quickly. By 1953, the New York Yankees, a team every boy dreamed of, signed him to their Class C affiliate in Boise, Idaho. For a young black boy from Mississippi, this was unimaginable. It seemed as though the universe was finally rewarding his grit. Then came disaster. An injury to his shoulder robbed him of the velocity that made his fastball dangerous. Scouts noticed. Coaches noticed. The fire was gone. He was reassigned to lower teams and eventually let go. But Charley Pride did not quit. He found his way to the Louisville Clippers, trying desperately to hold on to the dream. Then came the humiliation that would scar him forever. He and his teammate Jesse Mitchell were traded for a used team bus. Not another player, not money, just a bus. It was a cruel reminder of how the world saw him. Disposable. For Charley, it cut deeper than any physical wound. And yet, instead of breaking him, it lit a fire. He trained harder, pushed his body to its limits, and clawed his way back. In 1956, he returned to the Memphis Red Sox, and this time he made his mark. He won 14 games that season and earned a spot on the Negro American League All-Star team. That year, he faced legends like Willie Mays and Hank Aaron. In one exhibition game in Texas, he pitched 4 shutout innings, leading his team to victory against Major League stars, a rare feat. The crowd roared his name, and for a moment, destiny seemed to smile again. But fate had other plans. He cracked a bone in his elbow, threatening everything once more. Reinventing himself, he developed a knuckleball, a pitch that relied on finesse rather than speed. It was a way of surviving when power failed. Just as he was adjusting, life called him to another battlefield. Uncle Sam drafted him into the United States Army. At Fort Carson, Colorado, Charlie became a quartermaster by duty, but a ball player at heart. He played for the Army baseball team and led them to victory in the All-Army Sports Championship. The Army years were not just about baseball. It was during this time that Charlie met Rosine, the woman who would anchor his life. Their connection was instant. He asked her to marry him on Christmas Eve, and she said yes. Together, they built a family. 3 children who would later carry his name and legacy. When Charlie left the Army in 1958, he tried once again to resurrect his baseball dream. He returned to the Memphis Red Sox, then bounced through tryouts with the Los Angeles Angels and New York Mets. Each time, hope rose, only to be crushed. His shoulder simply wouldn't let him go further. Slowly, painfully, he began to accept that the major leagues would never be his. In Helena, Montana, Charlie worked construction by day and played semi-pro ball by night for the East Helena Smelterites. He took a job at the local smelter, where spots were reserved for ball players. The conditions were grueling: molten lead, choking smoke, danger around every corner. Yet, even in that darkness, something beautiful emerged. Charlie sang while he worked. His voice echoed through the factory, lifting spirits in a place where hope was scarce. Then, one small moment changed everything. At a Smelterites game, the scheduled singer for the national anthem didn't show. The crowd grew restless until someone asked if anyone could sing. Charlie raised his hand. He stepped to the center of the field and let his baritone roll through the stadium. The crowd fell silent, then exploded into applause. That single performance cracked open a door he never expected. Soon, Charlie was singing at local bars, clubs, and events. His voice spread by word of mouth. People who had dismissed him as just another ball player now whispered about his singing. Eventually, Nashville came calling. Manager Jack Johnson believed in him, but every record label slammed the door. They admitted his voice was golden, but his skin was black. Country music, they said, wasn't ready. Then cowboy Jack Clement recorded Charlie's demos and handed them to RCA producer Chet Atkins. Atkins didn't hesitate. "This man's color does not matter," he said. With those words, history shifted. In 1966, Charlie Pride signed with RCA. RCA feared backlash. To protect him, they released his first singles without a photograph. The Snakes Crawl at Night and Before I Met You failed, but his third single, Just Between You and Me, reached number 9 on the Billboard Country chart. He was on the map. His real test came in Detroit at Olympia Stadium, where 10,000 country fans awaited this new voice. When Charlie walked out, the crowd froze. They hadn't expected to see a black man with a guitar. Charlie met the moment with humor. "Friends, I realize it's a little unique. Me coming out here with a permanent suntan to sing country and western. For you, but that's the way it is." The tension melted. He sang, and the crowd erupted. That night, Charlie Pride broke the barrier Nashville had kept locked for generations. What followed was a meteoric rise. He became the first black performer at the Grand Ole Opry since 1941. By the 1970s, he was RCA's best-selling country artist, second only to Elvis Presley overall. He recorded hit after hit, Is Anybody Going to San Antone? All I Have to Offer You Is Me. And, of course, Kiss an Angel Good Morning. He won the CMA Entertainer of the Year award in 1971, multiple Grammys, and the respect of peers who once doubted him. Charlie's music touched millions. His voice was velvet and steel, carrying both joy and sorrow. He broke down walls, not with protests, but with songs, proving that music could dissolve prejudice in ways politics never could. But behind the applause, a quiet pain lingered. Baseball never left him. He admitted that every time he watched a game, he felt the sting of what might have been. Being traded for a bus, being cut from teams, seeing his dream vanish. It haunted him. He confessed privately that even at the height of his fame, he sometimes felt like an imposter, unworthy of the love he received. On December 12, 2020, Charlie Pride passed away from complications of COVID-19, just weeks after performing at the CMA Awards, where he received the Willie Nelson Lifetime Achievement Award. His wife Rosine later shared his final truth. Charlie had asked her to reveal it after his death. Though he loved music, baseball had scarred him so deeply that he sometimes doubted he belonged in country music. He said, "Baseball broke my heart, but music healed it." That was Charlie Pride's legacy. A boy who picked cotton in Mississippi, a man once traded for a bus, who rose to become the first black superstar in country music. His story is not just about fame, it's about resilience, the refusal to quit, the courage to keep going when the world tells you no. Even now, long after his voice fell silent, his songs echo across time. For every dreamer who feels defeated, for every person told they don't belong, Charlie Pride's life is proof that sometimes the door that slams shut is only redirecting you toward the path you were truly meant to walk.